every now and then. So I'm doing something different. I'm going to roast the Fantasy Football Today podcast. Now, I have roasted many people. Dude, how are you so tall yet so easy to look down upon? Oh. Yeah. I've roasted at the Comedy Store many times. Jeff Ross even said he loves me. And I'm going to roast you all, but know that roasting is done out of love.
Hi, Mullet Kang here. Welcome to the roast of the Fantasy Football Today podcast. And I don't know if you know this, but the Fantasy Football Today podcast has a new segment out called Fantasy Football in 5 minutes, which is about how long it takes before you want to turn it off. Let's start with Ben the Gretch Armstrong, because you're always pulling at him for fantasy advice only for it to come back and smack you in the face. Ben Gretch looks like Tom Brady and Sean McVay had a baby. Seriously, how does one podcaster look like every failed contestant of The Bachelor? Look, I'm not saying that Ben Gretch has an ego. I'm just saying he wears Nike t-shirts that say, "Just do shit." You know, his Twitter name is Yards Per Gretch. It should be yards he needs to keep away from a school. Let's move on to Heath Cummings, a.k.a. the Eric Trump of fantasy football. Have you seen his face? I like to call him Brief Cummings. Hey, get your minds out the gutter. This isn't a sex joke, alright? I don't make sex jokes about someone who's always screwing my fantasy team. Up next, we got Jamie the Heisenberg. Except instead of cooking up meth, this Heisenberg is cooking up methods for failure. Heisenberg's Twitter says that he is a former newspaper guy. What the heck is a former newspaper guy? I'm guessing it means that he's the type of guy who likes to read the obituaries for fun. Good. You let me into the fantasy league. You could see your fantasy team in the obituaries every Sunday. That's right. Since you're a newspaper guy, I'm going to call your start-sit column the Sunday Funnies, because the idea of you being right is hilarious. Now on to one of my favorites, Dave the Save Richards, because he'll save the crumbs on his shirt, but not your fantasy team. You know, they say the taller you are, the more people have to look up to you, which is true. I've always looked up at Dave yelling, "Don't jump! It's just a fantasy game." That's right. Dave Richards has got the face of a guy who does play-by-play at McDonald's drive-thrus. Oh, they're putting the nuggets in the bag. Watch up. There's a little stumble with the sauce. Nope. Clean handoff. They're off. Dave, your Twitter says that you work at CBS Interactive, which is crazy because you look like someone that no woman ever interacts with. Now on to the guy who the only league he looks like he should be in is the League of Legends. Your main host, Mr. Adam Stargazer Azer, because he still dreams of the stars even though he's in a shitty podcast studio. Let's get to know Mr. Adam Azer. Adam Azer was born in New York, yet he grew up in Florida, which means he's probably Jewish and an idiot. Little fact about Adam Azer is he's addicted to Twitter polls. Always got to know what people think. You know, I feel bad that I never put in my 2 cents, but I don't think 2 cents is enough to buy Adam friends. Let me just break this down for you. Adam's Twitter profile picture is a picture of him on a mini billboard where 2 girls are taking photos of themselves kissing a photo of his face. That's right. It's not creepy at all. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about creepy, and there's all kinds of creepy. For instance, one kind of creepy is the guy who puts the lotion in the basket. Then there's Adam Azer, the guy who weaves the basket. Now remember this, y'all. If you want me to come in and talk some real trash and you have to actually beat a real fantasy football player, bring it on. Mullet King's here. Bear Badeaux got you. Let's do this. Podcast League. Mullet out.